Oh, man. Hello, YouTuber. You saw what I did there? A little bit of James Bond shit when I was trying to say the man. Alright, folks. Pretty soon we'll be making a t-shirt that says, "Oh man," you all buy it, and that way I can make money. No, I'm just kidding. Alright, so today marks number 5 for the 24 Christmas Candy Countdown. I kind of came up with a name with it. The 24 Christmas Candy Countdown. A couple of YouTubers are decided to adapt to it soon, and it's going to be pretty exciting to watch, nonetheless. So, alright, the YouTuber we're talking about is... I gotta impersonate him as best way possible. Alright, back here again. I look like a pale white boy. This isn't gonna work. Lukemorse1 kind of has like that entire, like, you know, tan and everything, a nice little tan going for himself. So, alright, back here again. Just got back from Hard Off, and I'm pretty stoked. I got myself a new board here. Yeah. It's called Santa Claus Gets Out of the Maze and Beats the Shit Out of Contra. Now, paid quite a bit for this, and I'm pretty stoked nonetheless. Been wanting this in my collection for quite some time, and you know, there's a couple things wrong with it though. And I think a couple of the fuses are gone. Yeah. Isn't that wild? Nah. Anyway. I'm gonna count off Lukemorse1 now. He is quite a vivid collector. Now he moved here from the States to Japan to have a new life. So he pretty much is a collector of Famicom's Japanese consoles, and I suppose he's starting to really adapt to some more of the Americanized consoles as well, because he is really homesick and I know it. He also adores Taco Bell. The only problem is Japan stopped selling Taco Bell to exception to an AV base out there because Japanese just do not like anything outside of their own type of culture. It's just sort of a culture class they don't like. They just kind of keep it simple, keep it efficient. Which is, of course, one of the gifts that Lukemorse1 gave me, which I'm going to discuss a little bit briefly about in a second. A little bit of today's lesson. So, alright, we're going to open up number 5, which, again, another little girl. Like, what is going on here? Is that Unga Bunga guy coming around my cardboard thing here? But, nonetheless, gotta pop open this chocolate. Gonna share this with Luke. So, today he is a squirrel. My mom likes squirrels, actually, so you're in luck. I might actually save this for her, because she likes squirrels a lot, so... I'm not going to eat that one. It isn't anything against Luke or any the wishes or anything like that. It's just my mom likes squirrels a lot, so I'm going to let her have the piece of chocolate because she likes them a lot. Makes sense, right? That and I didn't expect that. So, alright. Squirrel. Can I have life lessons off squirrels? Nope. There's no such thing as life lessons squirrels. But, however, the simplicity of a squirrel, I could talk about the technicalities of a Nintendo Famicom. Now, one of the more interesting things about this console is not a lot of people here in the States, believe it or not, actually knows what the hell this is. Like, a lot of kids growing up, like, pre-Super Nintendo onward, wouldn't even know about this console unless someone told them. Or they looked it up themselves. And the Nintendo Famicom, or the Family Computer Famicom / Grindcore X Grindcore console, was actually a sufficient console developed by Nintendo, obvious. And the main reason why was to pretty much experiment in the gaming market, video gaming market. They wanted to make a cheap, sufficient console that they can release to the general public. Sort of like, if you guys already know about your current day history or know the facts behind this console, the Nintendo Wii, then now you do. Nintendo for so long has developed gaming consoles that were cheap, sufficient, and got the job done. That's what Nintendo's philosophy was. Make it cheap, but make it fun and simple and playable. And the Nintendo Wii, some people consider the motion controls to be something that of a static, being a little bit complicated for most people's general hardcore tastes. I don't understand how you can consider this casual if you're moving your freaking arms around like a madman on crack. Which, to this date, I still say that Nintendo Wii 1, PlayStation Move 0. Just because it looks like a clitter stimulator, the move that is, not this thing. This thing is just like a butt plug slash dildo that should never have been developed. But nonetheless, it's still a sufficiently good controller. You know, you can't bum it off. But, as you notice over the designs over the years, Nintendo kept the controls simple and comfortable as possible. I mean, some people don't think that necessarily the Wiimote was as comfortable, nor the N64 controller. But, I beg to differ. I felt the N64 controller was pretty darn good. You could switch your hands up, you know, different control schemes a little bit. But it was fantastic. Don't own a 64 yet, but I'm planning to get one in the future. So, alright, back onto this little beauty here. Now, you guys can look at this console right now, this red and white color, and you're going to think this console is butt ugly. Now, a lot of critics agreed that this console, some people think this console looks fantastic, some people just think it looks repulsively ugly. I just think it looks adorable. It's tiny, it's efficient, just like Asian women. Alright, I'll try my best to move with my muscles here. My muscles here, for some strange reason, don't like to move as much. So, alright, as you can tell by the Nintendo Famicom controllers, the second player does not have a start or select button. Now, the main reason why is because, you know, this was really more used towards a microphone, which you can adjust the volume here, talk into it. It's sort of like how the Nintendo DS activated itself as well. I mean, a lot of these concepts get refurbished and reused a lot throughout their consoles, and they work somewhat well. You know, something ain't broke, don't fix it. But you can tell by the Nintendo Famicom here, there's a problem with it, and I'll show you in a second. But I just think the controller design and everything is really, for its time, was really interesting and different and good. I mean, some people don't like the controller port on the side here, because it would kind of, you'd have to, you know, it doesn't feel right to some people. I mean, for me, I think it's just fine. But nonetheless, you know, this got introduced as a directional pad. There was no analog, no stiff controls. It's quote-unquote being a very stability. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the Atari 2600 a bit. I just could not, I don't like that type of stiff controls. I like directional pads. That's my pet peeve. I love the fact you got more control, and on top of that, this is a very simplistic controller. I mean, again, some people aren't going to like this design. They like the classic Nintendo controller, the rectangular shape, you know, the gray and black, or the Americanized version / European version. And this is, of course, what people go, well, the European market did not get changed. We had personal computers. That is correct. So that's why Nintendo, because Atari and all this was bringing up this concept, the computer. They mentioned this a lot. Family computer. And the reason why they call this computer is because, let's face, guys, this is a computer. A very simplistic, dumbed-down, BIOS-operated computer. It does not necessarily have an OS, but it does boot off, or the later consoles like Sega Genesis onward, Super Nintendo / somewhat have a BIOS to boot up these games. Now, they weren't quite apparent. They did work off a ROM and a / an emulation board, but either way, it worked sufficiently. Obviously, as you can tell, it just worked, booted straight directly. No typing in the computers, no keyboard commands. Just pop it in and play some of that. And again, I thought this console idea was just fantastic. The history behind it is even more fantastic. But here's the problem with this console, guys, and everyone will agree. This. Now, you could mod the console and make sure it had like an optional port, and, you know, be able to just play it. You know, you get the point, right? But either way, this idea of this console was just a fantastic thing for its time. It was simplistic, sufficient, and adequate. Now, in the gaming console market, a lot of people argue and say that the N60, not the N64, what the fuck am I saying? The Xbox 360 and the PS3, you know, are the leading market. Now, I disagree to a point because for a while, the Nintendo Wii had its grip on the market. just because it was interesting, different, and then attacked the main focus of the market: children and families. Now, a lot of the other consoles, of course, obviously came out their fair share with family games like Little Big Planet and other games out there as well. Those were fantastic for the time, but however, they did not stack up to the simplicity and the fun to a lot of parents considered the Nintendo Wii. Now people go, good, to put all the damn kids on the Nintendo Wii so they'll stop playing my PC2. You see, you can't quite stop every kid who tries to play these games, because guess what? You're just going to have 20 more kids jumping on the bandwagon because they see violence, and because their parents want them to play it, they're going to play it more likely. They see the M rating, they're just all over it. So this turns around and makes you go, well, I guess then you're going to have to shoot all the kids. No, you don't shoot all the kids. If you shoot the kids, then we're not going to have any kids working at the Dairy Queen, 85 years old, and craving a soft serve. That's not going to work quite like that. And I like soft serve, so if you kill the kids, I'm going to be pissed off. Either way, what's the moral of the story? Well, this little history and all that, this console, I just thought it was amusing that something that could be so simplistic, so frantic, it could be super fun. This console had a lot of great console titles for it, or launch titles like Super Mario Brothers, and most of the interesting games that are obscure and required the microphone to it were actually pretty fun too. But either way, the moral goes is this: make something simple, you'll attract more people. Or keep it simple, you'll attract more people. You can use it both ways, of course. But again, don't apply something extra if it isn't going to be needed. It's just like having multiple options and game modes in most of these new games nowadays. No one most likely plays it, and people just end up sticking to the single player or just not bothering with them at all. It's just extra content no one's going to give a damn about. But either way, I digress. What do you guys think about the Nintendo Famicom? Did you guys think it was a really interesting and innovative console for its time due to the fact it was simplistic, offered plenty of addicting and simplistic arcade style slash fantastic titles for its time, or you just did not give a damn? Either way, your comments down below. And as always, I'll have Lukemorse1's URL in the bottom down below. If you guys don't know his name by now, shame on you. But either way, Lukemorse1 is a fantastic human being. As always, I'll be showing off more fantastic beings on my 24 holiday candy countdown. That's a lot to say at once. So as you can excuse me, I'm going to play Oblivion so I can slam my head into a wall, because this game is just that freaking elaborate. So take it easy, folks, and thank you guys so much for eating my chocolate, bastards.